Hola, papi. No hace nada aquí. Ah, bueno, voy a tomarle un acá aquí. Lleva arma. Por aquí. Por aquí. Sí, ahora me quedo aquí buscando que me caigan los bolsitos. El 7 kick, ¿qué voy a hacer yo con 7 kick? Ah, perdón. Un vehículo en esa carretera y arrancar, papi, porque estamos bien lejos. Papi, ya me han partido las patas todavía, Fred. Yuri, ¿cómo vamos? Yuri o el manco del Gerson. No había visto los comentarios, papi. Yo sé, no sé. Sorry. Sin Navidad, papi, ¿cómo vamos? Y manchándola como siempre. Con vehículos porque estamos bien lejos, papi. Uy, gracias por eso. Gracias por ese raid. Kill power. Kill power. Gracias por esas 9 personitas que están por ahí llegando. Saluditos, saludotes. Bienvenidos a todos. Buenas, buenas, saluditos. Gracias por ese hostazo. Buenas, feliz Navidad, Pame. Pame. No encontramos vehículo. Vehículo de mamá y papá. Gracias a todos los que van llegando por ahí. Feliz Navidad a todos. Saluditos, bienvenidos. Aquí, papi, lo que podemos ver es full manqueo, risa, papi. La risa aquí nos falta. Burger. Vamos a ver si tiene hamburguesa. Buenas, tiene hamburguesa. Buenas. Tornado. Uy, un mito no tenemos. Tornado hamburguesas. No, no había nadie que me atendiera, más. Estaba pidiendo una hamburguesa vegana, no había. No, estoy en solo porque estaba jugando ahorita con alguien y se fue a desayunar. Jugando dúo. Creo que si iba a desayunar que ya venía. Buena squad, no, estaba jugando dúo y estaba supuestamente que íbamos a jugar toda la mañana como es festivo y estamos libres de trabajo y todo, pero no sé, como que se tomaron sus traguitos y están para allá abajo. ¡Ay! ¡Ay! Me asustó ese sapo perro, mano. Papi de Colombia. Me asusté por estar viendo para el otro lado. Ah, mano, ahora no voy a contestar. ¿No? Trabajé toda la mañana. Paso a limpiar el micro. Hello. Hola, hola. Es que estaban haciendo una llamada a mis hermanos, como yo no estoy con ellos y no sé, claro, fueron tarde. Y Wow, pensé que no iba a encontrar, pa. Abuelen gaviotas. Para acabar el café. Y por ahí estaba viendo. Ah, ahora se lo muestro. Ahora que estemos en lobby le muestro. No sé, It's Power One siguen por ahí. ¿Han escuchado del Pub Beta? Pues me acaban de informar un amigo ahorita que estaba jugando el que hay alguien que está haciéndose un servidor con el Pub Beta desde 2017. Ahorita caí mal, no sé ni por qué. Algo con eso. Ahorita entré a un canal y estaban jugándolo. Pub Beta más o menos como se ve Pub Mobile ahorita. Muñequitos, creo que son los mismos los personajes. Muévete bien, muévete bien, muévete bien, baila. Ahora lo coloco para que lo miren. Más, me matan rápido, lo coloco de una. O no, lo dejo sonando y caigo en una casa y lo miramos. Vamos acá aquí. Como soy el Sam, vámonos. ¿Quieren el Control M. Uy, cayó gente, cayó, necesito un arma, necesito un arma. ¿Sabes que me cayó? Chaleco, compensador, no joda. Uno que cae mal, cae en una casa y no encuentra nada. Control M, mira, Control M se quitó, se puso. Ahí es mejor. Nosotros fuimos los que abrimos esto, ¿verdad? Sí. Me voy a quedar en un bañito. Aquí está el bañito aquí. Y les voy a mostrar. Control H. Wacky Hulks. Mira. Ah, ya. Ay, no tiene los videos, mano. No tiene los videos activos. Ah. Es Ratchat. Están haciendo como un... ¿Cómo es la palabra? Como... no, sacando a flote el pub. El pub de esa de la primera versión. Desde España, soy de Colombia, saluditos. ¿Cómo se llama? Ahorita yo dije que iba a entrar al Discord a pedir permiso para que me den el acceso a descargar el juego. porque es una vaina y para jugar Pubg de esa generación está bien. Vamos a ver si lo tira cerca. Señor avión, espéreme. Ah, no lo tiro. Bueno, entonces vamos donde siempre hay gente de arena, vamos para arena. ¿Cómo? Vamos a ver si entramos aquí y encontramos una mira punto, ¿va? Y la inhibidora, nada. Mirita, nada. Mirita, nada. No, mirita, bebita, bebita. Mirita. Vamos entrando a lo que está en camino, ¿no? ¿No? Hemos rato que no digamos kill de RC rojo. Joder, encontré una mira punto ahí. Uf, carajo, vámonos. Vámonos así y vamos a buscar balas de estas. Vamos a buscar balas de estas ahora. Ahora nos toca buscar balas antes de ir. Pues. A por fin encontrar el punto. Yo no iba a lootear, pero voy a lootear porque necesito balas de estas ahora. Me cambié el arma. Está como el arma esta de mapa, papi, debe estar OP. Yo con los juegos casi siempre me gusta llevarme de principal el arma que viene del mapa, o sea. La que es de cada mapa. Digo que le dan como la balancea que según X o Y mapa pegue más duro. ¿Por qué? Porque para que la gente la use. Imagino, digo yo acá en la cocina, como dice el dicho de los viejos. Tiene que moverla como zángano. Sí, sí. Y un pasito tum tum. A ver. Y un pasito. A ver. Yo no he escuchado disparos, ustedes tampoco. O sea que está más limpio, papi, como el cristal. Limpio. Ahora que me pegué un snipazo, ahora que me quedé quieto rascándome la mano. ¿Qué hacemos? Vamos por ese carro y vamos a... Si no nos matan, vámonos a buscar... Uy. Epa. Allá arriba. Allá arriba. Uy, qué lagazo. Es lo que no me gusta, está tirando unos señores lagazos. ¡Uy, pues puta! Ah, ey. ¿Qué siempre, papi, qué pick tan bueno tiene semana ahí, man? ¿Qué hay, qué hay, qué hay? Voy a ver si puedo entrar al Discord. Ya, has alcanzado 100 límites. No, a qué Discord me salgo. Yo salirme de un tic. Creo que es abandonar el servidor. Ok, abandonar. Trae este Discord. Ah. Como decía Pub, oh, oh. Pub. Vamos al Discord del man para ver cuánto. Ah.
In rotation, Orca's already been spotted, lots of damage onto him, and this just feels like this is about to be over. Even nade. Does it bounce in? Go right angle?
Nah. That's a tough angle to get a nade to squeeze into a window there, and sometimes they hit that window ledge and just bounce the wrong way, so tough moment there. Orca is going to get the knock on the Spyro. This is still doing damage.
Biel has snuck around back behind this one, so Rock running a very wide split down to the south. I think he might be eyeing to see if he can pounce onto this, but I mean, Geeke is pretty strong right now. With Spyro being down, Biel might be able to sneak in, steal a kill out of it, and that could pump the brakes on anything that Geeke wants to go after for Orca.
Orca just needs to hold the line. If he gets wind of this, he should be maybe hearing that vehicle from Santastico. Hard to say, but if he gets an idea that the third team has showed up, he just wants to try to direct them over into Geeke as much as possible, try to keep himself alive and GK recognizes that. They're trying to make an aggressive push, and they're doing some serious damage with those nades.
Smoke walls are providing some cover. Orca outside of the building now. Quizzy is going to be coming after PWD on the other side. Looks like they know exactly where he is, but he just has to run back to the building. There's no other options. Does get the knock onto one. Is he going to go for the flush? Yes, he is. So going to come at a cost. Orca now just trying to spray back in, see if he can slow down anybody else coming after him. And now reinforcements show up in the form of Rock.
Oh, I love this from Orca. He's playing this so damn well. And now Rock has a real opportunity to get some extra kills and get some great territory for themselves. Great decision-making from them after losing a player early to the Falcons. They've got this fight completely corralled, and oh my God, Orca's still surviving.
Toilet just saved him jumping over here. So it's enough, man. Pressure is on, and he's doing a great job of just trying to survive through. I say that and runs right into PWD. New targets, though, is it is going to be 2 members up for GK, and now dealing with Rock right on the edge of the zone. Song no longer in play, and it did go west like you were talking about. So Song with the Expendables. Buram and T1 all stacked on top of each other. Up to the northeast, we're going to have Navi, Toyo, and 17. Over next to school, we're going to have Sharper as well as Falcons, and this is going to get messy in a lot of different areas.
Yeah, I mean, the circle now not going to offer much more protection. Diffix with a good spray. Up and over, RBN answers, though. Good stuff from him, as you are now 4 strong here for Rock. Do have that Panzer looking for an opportunity to use it, but fight's already over, so all's well that ends well. Rock with another great timing.
I mean, just rock solid performances coming up from them. They know exactly what they want. They're playing to their win conditions, and they're playing confident. It feels like that last round has given them more and more, and if they can just continue chomping at every single thing that they can take, this is going to be a very scary team.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, that's why I was big on them when we were talking about our hot takes, quote unquote. I mean, I thought for sure, you know, Rock in particular is a team I have my eyes on during group stages to play with confidence. They play well. A little bit of a slow start, but once they got that one good game, they're right back to kind of, you know, right as rain. So well done by them. Biel, again, going to be fanning out to get some space. Little does he know, there's nobody around him, so he's actually going to get tons of information on what's free and available for him.
Totally comfy. Okay, Song fight. Here we go. The Expendables trying to brute force their way right in between T1 and Buram. Buram playing it slowly. They've got themselves right along the edge. They do have one of their members that is inside the new safe zone, and they have a building that they can kind of hunker down in for the time being. T1 playing just to the north of that. So you can see the Expendables don't really have too many options. Delwin's playing very far to the south. He's already been spotted out. Dutchy's just going to be the north of him. But this is just kind of awkward all around for the Expendables. They don't have an easy pathing into this, but they really just want to make this specific push. And I don't know. I don't know if they have the vehicles or anything else to make anything else happen.
No, they just have to fight for every square inch. They are charging forward, smokes and utility out to buy them a little bit of extra space, and Buriram is going to respect it. But now Buriram stuck between T1 and the Expendables. Going to be a very tough fight for them, even if they're able to keep the Expendables at bay.
This is a really smart push coming out from the southern section of the Expendables. The way that they have forced Buriram up a bit more into the north means that the Expendables are no longer playing the pinched position. They're forcing Buriram into it, and the more and more contained that Buriram is becoming just makes nades that much easier, throwables lining in, and you can see it's getting more and more complicated because T1, who've been looking over into the north, finally can start looking back down into the south.
Oh, these are some great nades from Buriram. Delwin here trying to find an angle. Tanvu stuck. Oh, that was great timing for Tanvu. The drop shot is good. Khan is down. And Dynasty gone. Delwin able to deal with him. And TE, I mean, we saw it at PNC. This Vietnamese team can frag in close quarter situations, and they are just not stopping.
They might not make it all the way into the circle, but they're going to take down whoever they can and bring them with them back into the lobby. Delwin lined up against Eddie right now. Nades going just a bit too far. Finally does connect. So Eddie takes down Delwin. Going to be able to get some more contain in this controlled area. Spots out Tanvu as well. Goes for a couple of shots. Doesn't connect the way that he wants to. T1 did leave Ian back behind, so is kind of supervising this fight as the new circle did pop. It is more to the west. This fight cannot continue here unless they get the finish or they just find some way to separate away from Ian.
Yeah, I mean, this is all but over. I'd love to watch T1's perspective right now because they're taking a fight against a couple different teams. But Tanvu here could outplay his opponent. No, just barely. Edie, the longtime veteran for Buriram, gets it done. 4 kills for them. And you know what? That's making the best of a bad situation for Buriram. Buriram. They were in trouble.
That's opened up even more of the south for Rock to play with, though. So they've got more space, more control. Up to the north, it's going to be T1. They've got Toyo just to the north, and to the west of them is going to be Full Sense. They've been peeking up over this hillside every once in a while. Sharper is making a push more to the west of this into Full Sense's area, but that's being corralled by where the Falcons are playing from. So it's Falcons on one side, playing inside of a compound with some walls around it, and T1 has this high ground position that they really want, that Toyo is presently occupying.
Yeah, this is kind of a game of chicken up on the northern side. Like, who's going to make a move first? T1 there, 5 kills already in this game, doing a nice job. Again, doing exactly what they needed to do. Control the edges of Songam very, very nicely. Play contain, and then they can break out and find much fairer fights on the back of it. We do have Buriram, one player left in the blue. Can't see him on the map, but Edie just going to seemingly wait this one out a bit, see if he can find a moment to maybe backstab T1, do some damage to them, but T1 being very, very cautious here, taking their time in this fight against Toyo.
Falcons on the other side of this being far more aggressive. Kickstart's already left the compound. He's moving right into Sharper's positioning. See if we can get some sight lines in on him. You can see Sharper in a lot of trouble. Full Sense doing a good job on the fence, but here comes the Falcons. Kickstart does get some damage on Belmont, forcing him away from that angle. That's going to open up more for Binya on the other side of this to get the shots. It's a full-on 3-team crossfire all onto Full Sense, and somehow they're managing to hold up for the time being, but it's coming at a cost. Slowly and steadily, each one of their members is starting to fall.
Yeah, this is a great timing now for T1. They noticed that Toyo was busy looking in the other direction. They had some free knocks available to them, so T1's like, you guys are fighting, we're going to come push your backs. And that'll open up maybe some space for Edie to get into this next circle. So Benja going to be the only one left here now for Toyo as they start to crumble between a bunch of different teams. In fact, CTG even getting involved there from their position on the south. No, they got a couple teams to worry about. They're getting flanked by Rock and 17.
T1 needs to be careful. They're going to spot out more of what's going to be going on with Sharper and want it. But Binya is still alive, just to the north of their position. With the way the circle is popped, means the fact that we still have the Falcons right in that foothold position that could be gatekeeping into the north. Rock still got control of the south, and the Dew Center is going to be changed. The game 17 is still alive, even though they are a bit weakened down into the southwest.
Kind of curious about AZ, what he wants to do here for GSW. He's just chilling right now a little bit to the south of all of this. It might just be a play for points, try to survive as the lone player left. Heather's going to grab a machine gun for himself. That's a nice pickup with the MG3. Belmont is going to claim Thunders there. So Falcons being very methodical, but 5 kills in this is definitely nice. They're playing this very, very well, and they're just claiming space. They're making sure that this western edge is going to be under their control, and you just got to make sure that teams coming from your north or south are pinned. And this is a good ridge side for Kick to take for controlling the north. The south is going to be a little more difficult.
I mean, it still does have some vision on what's going on in the south. It's going to be one of the few cover points. So it gives you a lot of egress in different angles, but you're right, Change the Game has much harder cover and will be their next associated team down there, so it will make it very, very difficult. But Change the Game's going to have to deal with 17. Meanwhile, here's our kind of remnants squads trying to see if they can creep their way in. Jedi trying to use some, I guess, mind control techniques, hoping the fact that nobody can see him. This is not the team you were looking for kind of situation, but Binya does go down to the blue zone up into the north.
The only thing I'm worried about right now for T1 is dealing with Jedi in the back. And I think they seem to be somewhat aware. The issue as well is that they have opened themselves up a little bit to CTG's sightline, so they're taking some damage from that. Edie is going to go down there. Rock, 4 strong, going to be flanking out to the southeast. They have complete territory control. 17 in trouble here, trying to keep themselves obscured from CTG. Might be able to strike, might be able to take Hung Tu Wai down over on that southwest corner. And yeah, Mortar's definitely very valuable here. It's actually Tiantan for CTG who's letting some of these loose.
We should also update you guys on the fact that GSW still has one of their members alive hanging out, so Rock's going to be able to dodge those. Not as... Oh, Tiantan dropped that right on top of Solds. So, I mean, it should be resable. Looks like the Mortars are stopping off, but he knows exactly where to keep it dialed in at.
Yeah, he might have ran out at this point. They've been flinging him. Yeah, they've been flinging him out, and actually he's going to get knocked by BL. Nice shots with the mini. Going to take that mortar annoyance out of the equation temporarily. They want to see if they can go for the flushes, but with the smoke in the hay bale, seems to be enough cover. Now EN kicks things off against the Falcons. H-Win down. Shrimsy gonna respond. Man, he has been hitting today with those headshots.
Just holds the angle, clutching up for his squad whenever he needs it. Nades now raining down on top. T1, gotta be careful. Oh, that cover almost bounced into type and made it pretty nasty. Falcons, do they have the time? No, H1 is going to go down, so Heather is going to be able to pick up that kill. Falcons, he pinned him over here, but Heather with a nice angle inside does manage to take down Tiggleton. Nate's prepped up, wants to drop it onto Shrimsy, but looks like he's already red. Stepped back against the new wall, seeing if maybe he can spot out somebody on the angle up, but I don't know if he has the time. Does get the knock on the time, but is not going to be able to get down Heather. Kickstart runs for the hill.
This is really well played by T1, playing for trades there on that push forward. Some good grenades. Yeah, dude, they are starting to rock and roll. Getting a little bit of confidence. Man, they're playing this northern edge so well. AZ was trying to find some kind of safety. He's getting shot at by RBN from Rock as they have taken control of this southeastern edge. CTG has been ripped apart. Eventually, this position inside of these ditches has kind of just not paid off for them, frankly. They are going to have a little bit of ability to repair some of that armor and things like that, so that's nice.
Through my brain for a second, I was just like, oh, yeah.
Are we bomb defusing here?
That's like, wait, what? That's not how this goes. So T1 has the harder path and Rock a bit stronger, but Kickstart's going to be potentially the new contender in that line, as it's just going to be a continued fight, as what we saw going on with Falcons a moment ago. But, I mean, Tian Fountain's also over here. Kick's already been red. They know exactly where he is due to the vehicle. Throwing in Molotovs. It's just going to be a matter of finding it. There you go. 11. T1 just continue. Make it more. Get it up to 12. Absolutely vibing. So it is a straight-up 4v4 with good old GSW having one member up in between it.
Yeah, just AZ. He's done a great job to survive this long. I mean, he's navigated himself so well to just avoid fights, avoid sightlines. Even though Rock had a brief moment where I could see they were shooting at him, doing a little damage, he was able to escape up into the north. So Rock is going to be tunneled on him a bit. That might give an extra advantage to T1 here coming into this late game fight. Still another circle to go, of course. T1 has found some level of safety. Heather going to kind of settle himself up where we had Hung to Y earlier on the southwestern edge. Meanwhile, 3 players going to take control of the hills to the north here, spreading out with those vehicles, and AZ realizes if he crests this hill any further, he's just going to open himself up.
While this is going on, there's some jockeying for position. Looks like RBN did hop in a vehicle. He was going to head up to the north to see if he can get a bit of a containment angle onto T1, but they already had 2 members that they had shifted over there. So it looks like he should be able to stop that out. Actually, AZ's still alive. He's trying to sneak his way in. Finally goes down. He really wanted to try to see if he could get his feet inside that circle. But Rock really backs up against the blue zone as the new one pops, stays pretty centered, but Type already sending it in once to get control over center.
Yeah, that's huge. Ian has to be super careful here, though. He's just trying to get info. He's doing a little bit of a duel, and he gets some damage in, but now he might be opening himself up to Santastico's angle. And now Ian realizes it has to fall back, because if he sticks around any longer, he's going to give himself away for free. So Type up on the roof, going to be able to put some hurt down on top of Rock. He's in the circle, they are not. And you got some good information from Ian on their formation. Smokes are going to have to come down. So for Rock, you're going to have to make a decision. Do you try to play for the house? But Raining also going to take an aggressive angle here right on the side of this trench, and he is going to be able to dig in and keep Rock barricaded potentially.
These are some cyberbullying angles if they can hold them. But the problem with it is the fact that Ian and Raining, neither one are in the circle yet. And if any of them go down, this is unresable. So you're specifically leaning into the fact that we think we can outshoot you. We think that we can take these 1v1s. We think that we can make sure that we can suppress you all the way down right up against the zone wall yet again and keep the pressure on. But Rock is doing a good job of just reacting. They're making sure to play into safe positions, regrouping as they can, but the more and more compacted that they get means the fact that nades could rain down on them at any given moment.
Yeah, so I think for Rock here, the option is to just crash at Type and take this spot. I think this is the best play they can make. Type, though, is on it at the end as well. Doing a great job there. 2 kills. Finally, RBN is going to find Type after he was lit up. Heather there trying to do it again, but EN is going crazy.
Santastico, the last one up for Rock. Looking up into T1. Can he take these fights? 1v3 right now. Back up against Blue Zone. Nothing to be done. And T1 picks up the round.
That is so well handled by T1. Their zone control of Songam, their control of the northern side, biding their times to take the fights on the northern edge of the circle, rotating through, clearing their edges, and then fanning out and boxing Rock out of that next circle. Absolutely brilliant.
This was a story of two teams' confidence. You could see it. Rock, early game, bridge camping, playing along that southern edge, taking firefights, third partying. Meanwhile, T1 opting into wide splits, holding down angles, not being afraid of any team, and just stepping up against them. And this is going to pay off well. They're going to feel really good off of this in the group stage because we're competing up against Falcons, 17. That was kind of the name of the game at the start of the day, but it's starting to shift.
Oh, T1 took a good fight against the Falcons as well. I mean, that was a fair, basically fair 4v4, and T1 just won it outright, and Type has been really, really good for T1 today. He has been fragging out. This guy is an up-and-coming young superstar from Korea. I mean, he just has been able to be old enough to play at the global level within the last couple of years, so this guy is really making the most of it.
Problem is, 17 Falcons, they want it, man. They're going to come back, and they're going to be swinging on Miramar. This is going to be a very... we've been seeing so much aggression on Erangel.
Yeah.
Imagine what we're about to see on Miramar.
Well, I pray.
That is going to be absolutely nuts. It feels like the lobby and the competition inside of PUBG, every international event, is just stepping up time and time again.
I'm happy to see teams like Rock step up, man.
Yeah.
They're really playing smart PUBG. That just was a bad situation they found themselves in the end. I think they made the right decision there, trying to crash Type altogether. That was the only thing in my mind. I'm like, the only way you're breaking this is grouping up, because you know that T1 spread out. The only answer you have is to group up as a ball, try to crash somewhere and break things open.
Just battle the bullshit. You just got to get everybody together, hit their weak point, hope that you can break the line, and then catch everybody on the flanks. And I mean, the strategy was about all you could do. So sometimes it just comes down to the aim and the angle, and Type had some good ones, kind of unlocked everything off the start.
Oh, he's just too good right now. I mean, him and Ian.
Type.
Yeah, Type, Ian as well, one of my all-time favorite players.
Well, we've got ourselves an interview with the Falcons, so Barney, take it away.
Welcome back to the Kadia Esports Arena, because I've got the man himself. It's Shrimzy here, joining me from Team Falcons. Game 2 winners. Let's talk about that. Cast your mind back a little bit, Shrimzy. Game 2, you guys managed to secure the win. It looked a little bit dicey at the end, so I wanted to ask you, from your POV, how was it?
I mean, it was exceptional. We played perfectly, didn't make any mistakes, and, you know, no, we definitely messed up. Made some mistakes, but I mean, win's a win, gotta take it, so.
Luckily, you were like anchoring, though, that position, because then you could just be like, okay, I'll take him out.
Yeah, it is what it is. We got the job done.
It is. I mean, coming into this, the target for the group stage, of course, is just to get into the grand finals. So I want to know, from your perspective, you guys in the team, is there an element of holding anything back, like even just holding back being overly aggressive, or maybe you can afford to be a little bit more aggressive during the group stage? Do you plan that out at all? Because ultimately the target's just to get into the grand finals, then you can really focus up, right?
Yeah, so our group stage needed to be changed. We've had a lot of bad tournaments in group stage and not qualified to finals. So just trying to get more aggressive early, get some extra kills like you saw in the last game. You know, got aggressive on a compound that was fighting, tried to camp some rotates, and you know, just picking up free points early game so that we can get into the late game. Or if we don't get into the late game, it doesn't really matter. That's about it.
Just get points on the board. That's what we really need to think about for every single game. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about your team dynamic, because anyone that knows you knows that you guys have this really nice like camaraderie amongst you guys as a team. But then when it's time to lock in, you guys manage to do that. Has that come like more naturally? Because of course, knowing Kickstart last year and Kickstart now, it's like two different people. He's really come out of his shell. I can only imagine that that's like a testament to you guys as a team. But like, how is that team dynamic affecting, you know, when you guys decide to lock in? Is it just more natural now?
Yeah, so coming on to Falcons, we have a new performance team, or not new, it's the same team that they've had the whole time, but for us it's new, and you know, they've taught us some things that have been very helpful for us to go into from the playful mood into a, you know, really locked in, you know, we gotta dog everyone in the game. So yeah, I mean, I want to give credit to the performance team. I think they've done a great job with us and definitely helped us, definitely helped me and Matt a lot. So I can't say for everyone, but definitely for me and Matt.
Nice. Shrimzy, I really appreciate you joining me for this interview. Stay right there, but we are going to head over to a quick break. Don't go anywhere, because when we're back, we've got more PUBG for you.
Reach your impossible. Lenovo Legion.
당당하지. 하나 더 기절. 왼쪽 가가.
확인.
왼쪽에 다시 당근 뒤에. 4번 쪽.
확인이야.
4번 하나 몰라.
확인했어. 하나 내 쪽에 있어. 하나 내 쪽 라스트. 확인. 놓지 마.
터치 해보든가.
3번 뒤 아니야? 3번 뒤. 터치 내가 딸게.
천천히 하자.
천천히. 터치 내가 딸게.
아직
경고. 아무튼 아직도 3번 뒤. 나이스.
나이스.
나이스! 좋았다잉. 잘했다잉. 너 잘했다 이번 번.
잘했다.
잘했다.
One of the oldest esports organizations in the world gets themselves a chicken dinner. T1 walks away with a big win and a big move here for the boys from South Korea. Joining me to talk about this game, Avenger, Godspeed, and Toffees overall. And looking at how that went down here, Godspeed, that's what peak performance looks like.
That is exactly what peak performance looks like. I mean, they went into that final circle with 12 kills before they even cleaned up the team. Something I want to note, though, AJAL, they went out early again.
Very sad.
Big sad.
That's just
sad.
I can tell. That's exactly what I want from you from in the future here. I just want your expectations of their state of emotion. That was perfect.
That is some hard-hitting analysis.
I do my best.
Thank you. Let's talk about T1 still, though, because, of course, that's a big kill game here for them, Toffees.
It was a big game for them. I mean, this is a roster that got put together in 24. I think they were building. It was a year to sort of learn each other. They drop Zenith, they add Heather, and I think that was just a massive pickup. So is this year for T1 to go the distance and win a PGC? I don't know that I buy into that, but I do see the idea of this is a roster that is getting progressively better, progressively stronger, and making good choices, and this was an indicator of that.
I think missing out on the direct qualification from power rankings by just a few points, Avenger, definitely would have lit a spark under them. We obviously know that from talking to Sonic at PGS 7 and 8, that they were very concerned about how things were going to go into the future.
Yeah, honestly, when you look at this, this is what this roster is exactly capable of, right? You're able to frag out there, staying 4 guys strong for such a long time, even though they're taking so many engagements. 16 kill win here, 26 points. Again, we're talking about the 60, maybe 65 points cut off for our top 16 here. This is a third of the way there for them.
But Rock again here, Godspeed. They're doing it.
Yeah, they found another good rotation in the south, which gave them even more consistency. And then more importantly is their timing. Their timing on these third parties has been impeccable, and it's what's been able to give them the room that they've been able to work with.
It also worked out. I mean, T1 by the same token did great in that game. One of their giant kill counts came off the back of third parties. Both of these teams understand that need to backstab, especially in the group stages, and are playing really well. Falcons get a third on that one, which I think is also going to put them in that position where they can sort of comfortably play out the rest of the group stages. Rock, Falcons, both feeling pretty gosh darn good right now. I think 17 as well. T1, I think after that confidence boost, will continue that grind forward without any issues. This is a really good-looking team.
True. I think Toffees makes a good point. This is a good start for the Americas.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that what you're?
I wasn't going to put that fine of a point on it, but
you should do that. You should do that. Yeah.
Yes.
We want to see that. Yeah.
Right,
we might be doing splendidly here as the Americas lineup. No, I mean it's great for them. You know, one more good game for both of them, they'll be sitting quite comfortably in the top 16, right? And then again, as I said before, once you get to your day 2 of play, if it's tomorrow or if it's the last day, you can have quite an impact. Like you can be denying some of the teams you don't want to be seeing in the final, especially in such a big tournament like this here. It's not like they're coming back next week to do it again. This is huge though. 46 points. There's quite a big gap though coming down from 38 to 23. The 15-point gap established here at the top 4.
Definitely. And with that said, now everybody 5th and under has to be starting to book up their ideas a little bit here. Godspeed, trying to move on. I think that we were kind of musing. Okay, like Avenger was saying, does Tycon try and do something on Miramar? They need to have a big step up. You already expressed some concern about All Gamers Global.
Yeah, and the good news is that they're going into a new map, right? We're finishing out with Miramar, so this is just a mental reset. Regardless of whether they love Miramar or not, it's just a chance for them to reset the mental. Again, make sure that they are not rotating into death as they have in the earlier maps, and they actually start putting some points on the board more importantly.
I think it's about making, like you said, get on the road early. You don't want to be chasing. You know, I talked to Shrims yesterday, said my biggest concern is I don't like playing the third day. I don't like being chasing. You don't want to have to worry about teams that are just intentional pushing and grinding. And so getting this early start is going to be really good news.
Yeah, getting even to from the 5th place, 23 points. Even GK on last place with 9th right now. We're talking about only 14 points. Like one big game for them, you're straight into the top 5. You're straight into it. But with it 4 teams at the top getting this many points here, they're already sponging a little bit. Our cutoff could be a little bit lower. But again, I'm thinking the 60-point mark is going to be around where it is.
I think you're right.
And I think it's close enough now that like a team like AG Global, like you kind of brought up, we're disappointed how they keep going out. It's still close enough that a team like that could come out, throw up one just insane game when we get to a Wrangle or something like that, and be right back in the hunt. So I do like that.
After 4 games, is that the disappointment that stands out? Not necessarily All Gamers Global, but the fact that GK, which we know that roster, they won Europe before PGS 7-8, did not have DiffX there, and still qualified for the PGS 8 final anyway, Godspeed.
Yeah, and I think it is disappointing, as you said, because now that they have DiffX and the fact that they aren't able to perform the way that they want to, again, coming into Miramar with that reset, I'm hoping they're actually able to find the footing, because as Martin said, they really only need one big game. Because it's early enough, even though it is only a 12-game qualifier, if they get a 20-point game, that immediately shoots them up into contention.
Yeah, I mean, again, for GK, they're a team that's capable of doing so, right? But you can't have that many bad games. Like, you're 9 points in 4 games here. We know that these guys are definitely capable of having these massive games. We saw Quizzy, he absolutely mowed them. But the third-party timing, as we pointed out here from Rock, like, it was a perfect third-party. They were able to clean up. You're not even able to get the chips and revive or anything. So, yeah, once we get to Miramar here, I'm hoping to see big things here from the team with the shapeshifter on.
I mean, I think the big one for me is to see a tough performance off the start. DiffX finally back is going to be a stressor to them. If you bring in the superstar that you're like, this is our, we're going to be finally hitting. And then your first day is, I don't want to say a disaster, but not what you hoped it would be.
For sure.
I think the mental of going back as a team and being like, okay, well, what is the problem then, is a tough place to find yourself.
A little bit of stumbling for sure has happened, and we need to see that cease now. But thank you very much, gentlemen. It is time to head over to the commentary team here to bring us Miramar. The Dusty Dunes are on the cards for 2 more games here, so let's get it done.
You heard it straight from James. Americas!
Korea.
Yeah, and China too. I mean, a 3-way tie for 2nd place.
Yeah,
Let's
dude,
go, man.
It's great. I mean, this is exactly what you want to see. Some of the heavy hitters in PUBG esports coming out swinging, having really good performances, and then you got Rock. I mean, a team that just is, like the desk was talking about, playing very good games these last couple of games, really starting to find their groove, find their decision making, all those things coming together. Even Gen G kind of surprising me a little bit. I mean, I know they won the qualifiers from Korea coming into this, but my hopes, frankly, weren't super high for them.
Well, they're not having a bad day, really. They're like, they're having not a stellar day, but they're putting themselves in position to where if they can continue up this pacing, they could probably qualify. Question is, whenever it comes to Gen G, it feels like they qualify, but then they're like 15, 16 every single time in the grand finals. So while group stage is good enough, when are we going to get the Gen G that is the historic Gen G?
Right, and I mean, you're looking for a player to start leading the charge, and it could be Tosi. I mean, he's been the one that even when, you know, you bring Barpo onto the team when he had that great year in 2023, so they say, okay, we're going to bring Barpo in. He was the best player in PWS for a little while there, and he really couldn't get it done. So you saw that Tosi at the global level was the one performing, so now you're building around him and Orca. You know, you bring Flame in. He had some really nice moments today. That fight he took in Tego was really, really good. So all these things, you know, who knows? Maybe you're getting some kind of step-ups here for Gen G.
I need to go find a stick and kind of like do the whole like hitting against AGAL and be like, do something, man.
Yeah.
This is a squad that we shouldn't be talking about when are they going to pop off. It should be every single game. How are they not popping off is the bigger question, because it feels like they're getting into firefights. Is it an overconfidence issue? I mean, I know we're just blind speculating right now, but this is a squad that if you drop them against another 4, it should be scary almost every single time.
Agreed. For me, one thing that concerned me going back to the Rondo game for them was not clearing their northern edge when the circle started closing to that hard southwest shift. You know, moves away from Stadium there, and there was BB Team above them, and I'm like, you guys got to clear that. Like, BB Team is just going to slam into the back of you when you guys move up to that hillside. You got to do something about that, and they never did. And like, so it's, for me, I think a bigger thing is decision making right now. Like you're talking about, the individual talent is a known quantity on this team. You know that they could frag out of control.
But I mean, even early game firefights, where I would figure would be their most like comfortable position to be playing from, we're not seeing the successes for it. But I'm not done and ready to count it out yet. But I'm going to count out an island circle.
Yeah, pretty much not possible. If people want to like see an island circle, the first circle basically has to be half land, half water.
Yep.
This one's a little too far shifted over, so I don't think it's very likely. You never know. Maybe we'll get that one in a couple thousand games that ends on one of the islands, but very unlikely is the sad state of affairs for those of us who love chaos in the circles. But for now, you're going to have teams like Geek, who the desk was talking about, really needs to step it up, have good early positioning, potentially.
And I mean, 17 Falcons and T1 and a 3-way fight for second right now is absolutely nutty. Nope, looks like Panadol already done. He's going to get finished off, so full sense not really sensing out exactly where the Expendables were going to be at, but with the circle, Expendables going to be in a good spot. DK as well. Gen G just going to be to the north of them. Burama to the further north of that position, but then over into the west, we're going to have ourselves Na'Vi, all with good inside track positions. So we've got a lot of water in the circle, yes, the islands, but we also do have those fields west of Impala that are going to eat up a lot of space. This has got a lot of very interesting shifts that it could go, or it could go hellaciously cruel.
Yeah, no, the fields are awful. Like, they're really tough to play, and you're absolutely correct. So when you're looking at that, that's, as a fan, you're kind of hoping it doesn't go fields, and a lot of the players probably feel that way too, except for maybe like Na'Vi or Gen G or maybe even TE who can get in there earlier, Geek. But one thing I want to point out real quick about seeing that the Expendables get a kill early like that, that's often an indicator that they're going to have a pretty good game. Like, they're a team that loves to go out, find those picks early, do some damage. They get this one for free, unlike the one on Erangel against Buriram. And if like they can find that confidence, start winning these 1v1s, that's when they start to accelerate. That's when they start to find their comfort in their groove.
Well, PGC, where we saw the biggest successes with them, was whenever they were pulling off like these tricksy plays and like backstabbing people and just really reading the circles well. Yeah, we know that they've got a lot of fragging power, but in addition to just being highly charismatic, I'm looking at you, Duck Juice. Dude is just fun to be around if you guys didn't know.
He is.
But on top of that, it's just a squad that's a lot headier than sometimes they come off as. But I don't feel like we've been seeing that opportunistic Expendables as much.
Exactly. They haven't really found those opportunities. So, you know, immediately I start looking at players like Delwyn, who we saw at PNC was so effective at going out on his own, finding that first kill, opening up that little bit of extra space for them to work with, that snowballed into good team fights, into good late games, that started to get them tremendous amounts of points as Team Vietnam. So you have Tanvu, you have Delwyn there. You know, Clories is a tremendous fragger. He's played for the Vietnamese PNC team before as well. So you have great players on that. We know they won PGC, right? Like it's you can say they're great, and it's like, well, no kidding, you idiot. Like they won a global event, like yeah. But
one of the closest global events.
Yes, yes.
It's not the closest.
Yeah.
I think that's the closest that it's ever been. Right?
Well, they had to come back from like 50 or 60 points down or whatever it was, and like I remember still talking to Duck Juice before that last day started. I'm going, man, you guys have a hell of a hill to climb here, and he goes, oh yeah, easy.
That's just how he is, man.
It's like, what?
Like, I don't know. That squad is so incredibly likable. So if you guys have not followed them on social media or checked out the stuff that's going on around them, I firmly recommend it. Even if you don't speak the language or anything else like that, support the squads from counter regions from you, and just enjoy whatever it is that they've got going on. Gen G, early fight yet again, and it's going to be against GSW. Sheldon.
He's all alone though. He went for a little bit of an information gathering mission here for his team, and he might be paying the price. Orca's got to be so careful here as the one. Might give Xiaotong the opportunity to go for the flush. The rest of Gen G wasn't in a position. That's a bit of a misstep here, I think, from Orca. He could have waited a little bit longer for the reinforcements to get there, but felt confident for some reason that he could take this fight. Now they're still going to win it because of a good grenade from Bean, but you lose a player there, and now you have to be thinking, well, is the rest of GSW going to come in here and crash us? Are we ever going to get ourselves the opportunity to go for the revive? Because if we do, we got to go away from this currently safe, somewhat centralist position.
I mean, it's interesting whenever we look at Gen G, because there are some there's no nice way of saying it. There's some blatant weird things that happen sometimes that cost them pretty massively. But presently, they're in 6th place, above the Expendables, above BB Team, who just comes out, and then all the way down in 13th, one of the strongest squads that we can think of, AGAL, just not really finding anything yet. So we're in a weird situation with Gen G where it almost feels like they're figuring out what's going wrong, but they're not quite at the stage to firmly cement in their play style or what's causing the issues.
Agreed.
But they're on the right path at least.
Yes, it is getting better. That is for sure. I mean, Lakelo does a good job with those boys. He's been a long time veteran of Pubg esports, so he certainly is capable of kind of getting them in the right mindset, getting them in the right direction. And we've seen that to some degree, where they've just kind of they're always hanging around, they're always doing well enough to kind of find themselves in final lobbies. But like you said, when they get to those final lobbies, that's where they usually crumble. So that's where I want to see them start to step up if they can get there. Toyo on the move up to the north. They got Buriram just to their south, and then Gen G kind of repositioned just a little bit further south themselves to get a little bit more central circle here early. But Toyo just going to have to do some scouting. Not much going on around them unless CTG does something a little bit crazy.
Yeah, most teams are already inside the circle. Most of the Falcons about to cross in, make it into the safe zone. Rock down around Los Siones, about to do the same thing. Sharper way down to the south around Puerto Priso, most likely is going to be their pathing. Uh-oh, there's a crate on the island, Paper.
Oh, well, that means we're going island then.
I mean, the circles follow the crates,
yeah,
right?
Maybe.
That's what I have been told.
Maybe that's the rumor. I don't know if it's true, but maybe Earth. He's in a glider. He could go pick that crate up. I mean, even if it doesn't go there,
Because that's what I obviously do. I look to the island for loot every single time I'm driving around.
No, I don't think anybody's going to get it. But
I mean, that's probably the highest opportunity for it. We're just toying with Toby, who always wants to be looking at those island circles right now.
Oh yeah, we gotta give him a little love now that he's back with us. So GSW only 3 players here. That's the Falcons right next to them. H-Win. So darn close to this, but I don't think he got much info. Plus, you have a player up on the plateau there. CC could find a great strike here.
Oh, H-Win spotted it. Tries to juke back down. Is going to get spotted. Is CC going to line up a bit more? This is a big problem for Falcons. They're just coming in full reinforcements. Pop up at the top of the hillside, but CC gets another one. Finally, he goes down. But up on top, big problems. AZ wants to go for the flush, but can't quite connect the tail end of it. Let's not forget about Ming, though. He might have an angle.
This is just great work by CC there, keeping himself hidden for long enough that he could do some serious damage. Kicking trouble, has to go prone, and I think he just got down in time. But this is a consequence of GSW sending that player out early and losing them, so they just kind of had to stand pat, and Falcons didn't expect it or read it well enough, and great work by GSW to keep themselves hidden in these long flanked out positions. They're doing some crazy good damage to the Falcons.
H-Win looks like he's pretty much done too. Kickstart gonna get spotted. AZ just the high ground. It is so strong. Now down to just Shrimzy. And what is he going to opt into doing? Looks like he's just got to leave his teammates behind. Play for safety, play for points. I mean, they're doing pretty good on the leaderboard right now, so not feeling too bad about it, but salvage what you can. And GSW, opportunity shoots them up quite a bit if you look at it. 3 points is a big difference down from the position they were playing at, now sitting in 11th place, tied up with Toyo.
Yeah, this is great stuff in a, you know, man down situation early in the game. To find points like this, that's got to give you some confidence that you can do some damage as this one goes on. I'm going to assume, yeah, I was going to say the crate is not going to dictate our circle this time around. Navi,
look, Twitch chat tells me things and I have to believe
I'm sorry.
it, right?
I'm sorry you read that.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're fine. I was just going to say Navi's popping an E pickup, but it might just be an info gathering little situation. T1's going to drive right down the half pipe there and try to figure out where they can go. This one is looking more and more likely that it's actually going to be that field ending that we were kind of concerned about. So you got to get real estate early here.
So there's a couple of points along the half pipe that you talked about that can be played, like most notably around the ramps. There are some opportunities, but it does not feel good. So curious to see what teams are going to go for as far as where they find strengths at. 17 is going to be the gatekeeping team, a bit ahead of what we're going to be looking at with Sharper. Well, I say gatekeeping, they're kind of moving as well. TE ahead of that, so they do have a way to breach in, but Bull Six just jumps out while he do a tight, but they do manage to pick him up. Ian starting to do some work of his own, picks up 2. Is he going to make it a 3rd? Tries to go for the runaround, stops off, peeks out and around. Bull Sense is down, and Ian eats them all.
Dude, he is still just so good. I mean, he's even the IGL for this team too, and even though you're going to lose type, that's still a huge win for T1, and it's a lot of E-end there, just playing that angle around that vehicle so well. An unexpected crash, and he handles it brilliantly. God, he's been so good for so long, and I'm so happy that he's gotten another chance here with a big org, just like in the past. They saw the potential with him. You know, Sonic kept him around, had the trust to lead the
Pig's
team.
coming back. As a heads up, it looks like we did see the blue chip come into play. Shrimsy did find it. He couldn't get the other 2 members because they were down and slowly bleeding out.
Is he going to the island?
Oh, I mean, crate's there, bro.
Heck yeah. That actually, hilariously enough.
That could be big.
Well, the funny thing is the glider is near him for Sharper. So.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
I assume Earth is going to see that. Earth might have even seen the
No, he's
the
looking
crate.
at the other side. Look, you can see
You're
the
right.
little arrow.
Yeah,
he's not
you're
even
right.
looking direct. I mean, nobody's expecting it.
Did he grab a boat? What is Earth doing out there? I don't know. But
no, he's in the glider. Isn't that what we saw?
Yeah, he should have been in a glider. But he like stopped right at the coast of the island. Anyway, whatever. It's not that important.
No, this is highly important.
He did
did get the boat. He stole a boat, so Tig's not going to have the boat that he thought was going to be there.
Oh my God, if that's intentional. Like if he saw Tig and he's like, nah, I'm just going to steal the boat. There might be another one out there. I think there's a couple that spawn out by that island, but that's so funny.
All right, yeah. This is going to slow things down a bit. Shrimsy's way over on the other side of the circle entirely, still being kind of harassed by AZ in positioning. BB team still kind of grouped up. They're going to have Sharper that's going to be now encroaching in right back behind them. Most of our other teams have kind of settled into the fields. No big pushes yet. Really, it's just Sharper wanting to kind of bully their way into Impala.
Yeah, they've done a really great job with this late rotation of Sharper, you know, using that glider nicely to get some info, able to regroup with a boat, able to find themselves some kind of territory. Now, it's not easy to fight out of there. Again, as if things continue to get funnel into the fields, you just have to start playing for kills around the edge, because as the game drags on, you're just getting into worse and worse positions. So Sharper has an opportunity, but BB needs big points as well.
Well, Sharper is very separated out. They've got several members that were trying to go more Impala. Circle does pop, and it is leading right in the fields. So T1's kind of split position along half pipe is going to be a bit scary. They're going to get a lot of friends about to come say hello, most notably 17, going to be the first ones on it. Rock, good position, playing from Cantera all the way down to the south pretty much. They've got a lot of space that they can kind of navigate, play those hillsides.
This is a big fight for AGL. They need to have some serious damage done to Toyo, and they're lighting them up with the blue zones pre-pop there. Toyo's just eating it. Tycon finishing what the blue zone grenade started. Nice stuff here for AGL. Oh, no.
Oh, steps back. That's fine. That's fine. Rebo doesn't manage to get one, but Mas does get the second follow-up, and Toyo is eliminated, and there are the kills that everybody was expecting coming out from game number 1, finally happening in game number 5.
Well, we talked about it, that when it comes to these kind of situations where they're in close quarters fights, like there should be no better team on the planet, you would think. In moments like that, you got Tycon Himas, they get 2 kills apiece. That's exactly what you want. Look at this from Ian here with the AK even. Look at the way he's making sure he's safe with those sprays. Doesn't want to give himself up because he knows that he needs to be that anchor or the forward firing position. Meanwhile, Genji doing some more damage in this. Buriram can settle up here. There is this little mini canyon that's outside of this compound that's safe-ish. Just depends on if somebody crashes you from behind.
Well, Rock's actually got pincered points around it looking at, and there's about to be a 4th contender, as I believe it has changed the game. That has 2 of their members that are rotating over here. So we'll have to see, get some cover in, and you can see it's going to be Wimbo on the other side of this compound that's going to go stop off. T1 getting harassed at range from 17, who's got pretty much the God compound inside the circle right now.
Yeah, this was great early scouting by Lil Ghost for 17. I was watching him on the map, and he was able to get this position for free, and this is one of those power positions. This is the one Navi's in, if Navi can get through it safely, which can be tricky because there's enough stuff around Navi's compound that is kind of playable. And meanwhile, CTG here, I thought for a moment they might use this Dust Storm to try to sneak their way into Navi or Buriram's positions, but they don't feel comfortable to do so. But regardless, 17 Navi looking like they're going to have really good late game potential as long as they can lock things down.
So Sharper's made a rotate, but it's kind of slowed down a regroup between the expendables. Tanbu's just going to be over to the east. The other members are going to be far more down in the south. But Sharper is going to try to use the Sandstorm to kind of creep by, getting very close to BB, running right in between all of them. Are they headed towards the second part of this split that BB's got set up? They're going to spot him out there, but they're going to have to pump in a lot of damage. Just jumps into a vehicle, trying to use it for cover hits. I don't know. Is that how you make new cars?
I believe so. I think Pansy would have something fun to say about that one. But this is just Maldoc trying to break that BRDM. Now, the 7.6 guns will shred those things pretty quick. So you can see already on very low health is that BRDM. It is in danger of being blown up very quickly. So Sharper has to make a decision making now, and it's right into T1.
I don't know if this is the decision you wanted to make. Jumps out, and it's just a ton of bullets already lines in. Does get the knock onto Raining, but that is going to be all she wrote and should be resolved.
Man, T1, they even got the res here onto Titan, so this is crazy good stuff for them. It was Raining who actually just drove out of the circle. I saw him driving away as 17 was making, what in the world's going on here? 17's crumbling.
Well, they're outside the circle, so if they were trying to make a run into this angle, they get caught off. While this is going on, T1's trying to regroup. It looks like the Expendables might be trying to make a path into them. DK is already wrapping around the very far north. Rock also has to make a push in by themselves. BB just doesn't have very many options, so they're going to play the northern section, but they're going to be wrapping into Buriram in just a second. Stop off before they bump into them. Rock will have the high ground on them in just 1 second, but with everything that's going to be happening all out and around, there's not too much more that can work with. BB just going to take a ton of damage, but exchanges in bullets is getting knocks on Buriram's side as well.
That's even exchanges there. T1 starting to crumble underneath the Expendables, who drove up into their backside right after Sharper. So a couple big battles happening here on the map, but this one very crucial for BB to get further. And Navi wants some of this too. They're starting to peek up and over. A grenade from Hakatori is going to finish Edie off. So that's 1 point there for Navi, but I think they saw Rock coming up on the hill. Yeah, H1's back too. So Tiggleton died out in the blue. He wasn't able to get back. But Shrimsy got some revenge. I saw off screen. He did some damage to GSW as they were trying to drive in.
I mean, take one down, pass it around, get you a new Falcons player, I guess is the way it's working right now. Okay, Rock, you've got the high ground, but everybody else is in the low ground, and they don't like you right now, and so every peak is going to get pretty punished. Shrimsy does get the flush onto what was, I believe, one of the Rock members, but H1 is going to go down. Navi kind of caught up in more what's going on around them at the time. Heather for T1 did move in very close to the northeast. They were wanting to see if maybe they can kind of survive out here for now, but 17 also going to encroach in from the southeast, as this is the compound where all of the party is going on.
Yeah, Falcons do eventually fall. Shrimsy doing a great job this game, just salvaging anything he could there for them. So that was a really difficult situation they found themselves in, came out of it nice. Fantastico, let's loose. There's so many players right there. If that grenade is on, they are dunzos. There are mortars raining out as well, but I think the grenade, it just did splash a little bit of damage in there, it looked like, but not quite on the point enough there. BB able to get back to the safety of their bus and their smokes for now.
Remember, this is pretty much open field, So everybody is just kind of hunkered down in that path right along the road, or you are around this compound. Rock is just to the west of that, in the high ground, looking down at everybody rotating. They can harass. They have so much control. So the team in first place, having control of so much of the circle already, really the only team they can't harass is going to be Na'Vi that's in compound. 17 trying to make a desperation play, but it is going to be Aries that does spot him out.
I'm curious what the Expendables want to do there. If they're just going to try to fan out in the fields and just try to play for the late game here. Circle is very much in favor of doing that. You kind of assume that everybody on the west side is just going to beat each other up. There's so many teams that are stuck around Navi's compound there that really you only have to worry about like Gen G, essentially, until that fight kind of concludes over on your west is the Expendables. So they are really doing a nice job navigating this game. They did wipe out T1 previously, so they're in a position where they could get pretty deep into this one.
This is a pretty scary road. We've got the Expendables down to the south and AGAL up to the north. DK is going to be very close to them. Gen G and the compounds in the middle could get a lot of attention. Tycon already knows exactly where DK is going to be at. Blue Zone Aid's going to come out. Not probably going to force them out of the compound of safety for the time being.
Fantastico? Hello?
Well, yeah. I mean,
hitting mortars?
The nades didn't work, so the mortars worked.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Go to plan B, which was way better than plan A, it turns out.
Yeah, sometimes it do be like that.
Man, oh my God, he's getting the flushes too. This is so brutal for BB team. And now you got one player, very low health, stuck behind the bus. But let's listen into Rock here for a moment.
소리 들리지 않은데? 3번 줘, 3번 줘. 3번 줘. 나비가.
Quer pegar minha DMR, Bel? Ele pode ter rilado agora, não?
Não, faz só.
Eu tenho uma nade, mano.
Vem cá.
Mano, qualquer coisa dá pra vocês descer.
Dá pra nós parar aqui e cravar nele, não, Bel?
Vocês descer assim pra matar uns dois.
Vamos tentar mirar eles. Tá lá.
Atrás do Jeep.
Tá. Vamos, vem, desce.
Bora. Bota a DMR, primeiro.
Okay, what are you going to do? Looks like it's going to be sending down the hillside. Can we see some BB revenge, or is the car going to be enough cover? Looks like it is going to provide it. They do manage to make landfall right over there next to Bestalock. New set of nades coming out, going to make Bestalock have to run for the hillside. But remember, Gen G is going to have vision on a new angle. AGAL as well, but they're kind of caught up looking at DK right now. This is just kind of turned into a catastrophe for everybody over here. Bestalock is going to go down. Fantastico finally does spot him out as the kill count continues to climb for Rock.
And Na'Vi now realizes that they've got a weakened Rock top team here in this lobby, and they have a chance to just knock him out of this game for now. They've already gotten one knock there. Sosa stretching out, finding some good damage. Tycon continuing to rock and roll up on the north, man. That is AGL starting to pick up some steam potentially. Still a tough fight for them against a dug-in Geekay. So see if they can keep that up. But I was kind of hoping that when we got the listen in with Rock that they had a C4 play up their trick. Like when I saw the motorcycle come through, I'm like, oh, please tell me someone has a C4 and you're just going to yeet it at Na'Vi or something.
AGAL looks like it's time to make some decisions. Circle stays pretty centered, so Gen G going to be the beneficiary of that. Kind of Heather, kind of. Can't really say too much more than that. AGAL very surrounding DK right now, and DK trying to see if they can weather the storm of bullets coming after them from both sides, but it has kind of caused this entrenched, slowed down game. Na'Vi does take out the last member of CTG that was just down to the south, so they should have a bit more options in rotation, as I believe Rock did get a res. So they're back up to 2. Means that we've got pretty much Heather for T1, Gen G in a good spot. The Expendables right along the half-pipe road, so should be able to find themselves a good spot for now. And a firefight up into the north to see who can get control over it, and everybody else just going to be making a mad dash in.
Yeah, smokes are out. Grenade there. Doesn't get in. It bounces outside as the heel's trying to come through. And, they're still not able to get him in there. So AGAL not really finding the more, just not getting inside of there. The smoke's kind of working against him. Hymas able to at least find one, though. Spyro with an MP5 trying to do some damage there. And Tycon will go down for that. There's no backup here. Spyro still holding on.
He's just entrenched, and he's slowed down the pacing of everything. This has become a big problem. Geekay knew that they were in trouble, but this is allowing a new set coming up from Rock. Spyro just comes out and is dirty. Make sure to secure the kills, does get another knock, and now AGL in a lot of trouble. Dipex is still alive over on the other side of the road. Rock is now set up. They've got their 2 members in there. They still want some more out of this. So now AGL, who was setting the pace, blows a ton of utility and doesn't get much out of it. Heather, though, does manage to use some utility pretty efficiently, doing some jukes around, tries to get some more, but does get the knock on to extend. Theorist finishes him off.
Oh man, he just barely missed there after that first seat swap. He could have had 2 quick ones and maybe done more damage, but now the Expendable's going to try to use that opportunity to make a move. Flame has eyes on it. Flame's got some damage down, almost gets the knock on a Delwyn. Another couple good shots landing, but isn't able to connect enough to get a player on their knees for the Expendables. And they're trying to reposition. They're trying to use those cars to block off Gen G's angle. They're going to fan out a little bit left, see what they can claim while Navi's recouping.
This is an interesting kind of wrap choice that they're going to use, because there is a couple of little divots, as you can see, that's going to be along this hillside that they can kind of sneak in. And they've been watching it for quite a while, so they know exactly where Navi's going to be positioned. Up to the north, it looks like K is going to try to make a pretty desperate rotate as well. I think that they managed to get through it for the time being, but Rock has managed to spot them out. Does get the knock onto one. Navi is just trying to stay alive for the time being, and the Expendable is just going to start a continued terror here, it feels like. Santastico has spotted out. Looks like he might actually be coming over here doing some reinforcements. Glorious doesn't even care. He's going over and getting, like, loot right now. He's like, nah, you guys got this.
Yeah. You guys are doing enough damage. Oh, perfect timing.
You got this.
Perfect timing there, right? As Sosa was trying to throw some util, and the Expendables just dislodge Navi, no problem at all. Gen G hanging on to the edge of the circle here on the east, just trying to play gatekeeper as best as they can, but this has opened up space here for the Expendables. Maybe Tosi hitting some good shots, taking Duck Juice down momentarily, but the Expendables have claimed these hay bales that are on the other side of the road, so Gen G gonna have to fight their way out. Some util in their hands. You can see there, Bean still has a frag, still has some smoke, so they've got some toys to work with.
Okay, what do you have in the tank, Gen G? You've got the compound, but you're up against PGC champion and present leaderboard top of the guy right now in Rock. Rock's in a bit more of a, I guess, desperate situation given the fact that they don't have as much numbers nor as much cover, as it's kind of bouncing around and flying off to the heavens here and there as it's exploding. But they have been very proactive as Rock is sitting at 8 kills up alongside the Expendables, both just kind of cutting a path into the circle.
Yeah, honestly, that van explosion is pretty nice for Santastico for now. That gives them a pretty nice angle on top of the Expendables, and it's helping that Gen G's putting some pretty good damage down too. So, you know, it's a tough position to be in as the Expendables. They took a great hit against Na'Vi, but, you know, trying to find these reses, having to use a lot of smokes to make any kind of positioning happen. And you know, Clories is in the circle, sure, but, you know, you had to do these reses on the backside. Gen G's going to be very tunneled in on you. Yep, there you go. Bean as well finding damage, and that's going to be their go signal to try to make their strike.
Got to be a bit careful. BL might have some vision, and Bean's doing a good job on providing cover, enough for them to at least cross over into the road. Can they step in secure? The Expendables, though, are reacting so fast. They're shifting directly back into this, but trying to set up some utility. Looks like they were maybe trying to throw a nade and get caught with their pants down.
Yeah, that's tough for the Expendables. Gen G playing this extremely well. They recognized that situation that Clories was on his own and they could capitalize. TE was trying to change direction to see if they could do something about it, but by the time they did, Gen G already had that hillside under their control, had the safety of that cover. They have an anchor position with Bean, who's continuing to rain from that building. Really well thought out here by Gen G.
So the hay bales that we can see BL playing from are the new focus, and that's good for Gen G. They realize they have the strength of the road, so they can kind of ramp whichever way they want, except for the angle that BL's holding down. He's trying to counter move into that. Santastico's trying to hold him back, so that's why you can kind of see the crossfire. BL down to the lower section of what's going on with Gen G. Well, it's going to be Santastico trying to see if he can kind of corral the Expendables into Gen G, or maybe stop Bean from getting any angles onto BL, because right now, this crossfire is all that Rock has to work with. They've got near on no cover, and they're going to have to be making some movements. Gen G has much easier pathing options, but they have the focus of the entirety of the lobby on them.
Yeah, so it comes down to Gen G playing safe. And if you get lucky, maybe Rock and the Expendables just end up kind of mutually assured destructioning each other. As you do have to be careful there, able to get back behind the hay bales. So BL going to go for the vehicle on the other side. Tanvu Delwyn just trying to wait this out as long as they can, but you know, Tanvu in particular on the worst edge of the circle possible, so making a move forward going to be tricky. I have no idea if he even has any smokes because they used so many just not too long ago. I don't think this is going to be very doable for them unless somehow they found some more util.
Especially because Flame has just been having one hell of a day right now. He's the guy that's holding back the Expendables, so see how he can handle with the 2v1 focus lined up against him. Tosi looks like he's going to be the guy that's going to have to deal with BL. So a lot of kind of 1v1, 1v2 fights, given the fact that there are still 4 members up. Santastico, though, does have some focus on what he's going to be looking at with the Expendables while they are managing to try to creep in. Bean's going to be the one that spots out Tanvu, does get the knock onto him. Flame took a lot of damage out of that, but should have enough time to maybe get this res off for the Expendables. Is Flame going to be able to creep forward? He's going to start running out of cover here in a second. Yeah, I was going to say, he's probably going to shift down into the road. So BL moves, that opens up the road. Flame just jumps in and takes it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of extra juice in that blue zone backpack for Flame there, so he could survive just a little bit longer. Delwyn putting some fire down, a little bit of damage done, at least keeping Genji honest below the hillside, but for now he has no helmet. That's a real big problem for him, especially at this angle, because that's what's going to be offered to Genji when he starts peeking up.
I mean, he has like, what, maybe one strap of armor left. Just a dangling piece that's blowing in the wind is the only cover he's got, as we are now in phase number 9, and it's all going to come down to the center. Santastico's pretty close to it right now, being on the other side of it. Odd team out is going to be the Expendables. Already dropped down on their bellies, going to have to crawl forward, and this is going to be very, very brutal for everybody, pretty much except for Genji.
Look at what Genji's done here. They're using these smokes to cut off Rock's angles onto them so they can focus onto the Expendables, knowing that it's going to be really difficult for Rock to make a wide swing up to their southeast, or excuse me, to their northeast, to try to kind of hammer onto Genji. And yeah, there you go. Flame's got Tanvu down. That's another point over to Genji. Looks like they might be in cruise control here. It's just going to come down to maybe them versus Rock if they can finish off Delwyn.
A lot of pressure going to be on Bean. There's the nade. Flame picks up another one. So 3v2. Can we see the lineups come up? Santastico sitting at 5 kills right now. He has been absolutely rocking this lobby. Flame on the other side, though, starting to feel it. Throws out all the nades right into Santastico's face. He braves it. Counter utility coming out, but BL is going to go down. Tosi now leading the way. Santastico gets some damage on a Tosi, but there's a follow. Santastico takes down Bean.
We've seen this before from Santastico, what he can do in these moments. He's hit big 1v3s before. That is going to be point confirmed for Tosi. As Genji takes a pause, Santastico takes damage, he takes a stun. He can prone down. I think he's actually maybe safe there if there's no more frags or mollies.
For the time being, problem is the blue zone is right at his heels. He knows he has to move. So much utility now coming out. He wants it, but he cannot find it. It is going to be Genji picking up the victory.
Yeah, that's extremely well handled from Genji. You know, losing a player early, right? Remember, back to the very beginning of that game, they lost Orca to GSW, and they're able to hang on, lock down their positions, find their moments, isolate fights, pick teams apart piece by piece, and not give anything else over.
Well, understanding your win conditions in that circle in the territory you need to control. They realized how their lineups were. They did a great job of defending against it. And shout out to the Expendables as well as Rock. There is no easy mode for these guys right now. They want every single point that they can get. They are hungry and they want to prove themselves, and Genji just played very clean in game to deny them out.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Expendables played this game very, very well. I mean, finding their moment to strike on a T1 to knock everybody but Heather out, claiming that southern edge for themselves, being able to work pretty methodically there. Again, they did something similar to Genji where they're picking teams apart piece by piece, making their moves, and then they get that moment on the Na'Vi when they can just make it rain with grenades and wipe them off the board. That's the Expendables you want to see, that smart, calculated, aggressive style.
Well, that's what we're talking about, the opportunistic team. You know, the one that realizes this is our moment to pounce. This is where we can jump. We can third party this, finding so much inside of it. And Genji finding more and more strengths, seeing if maybe they could be that team that so many fans are waiting for them to be. We're going to take a quick break while we get everything ready for our last game of the day.
Hi guys, I'm here with Tojo, and I'm standing here with Capitan. Well, with that Tego circle closing in on you, what was running through your mind when like the multiple teams were just coming at you all at once?
Yeah, it was really difficult. We expected that the circles comes to us. That really doesn't matter. We tried to do a good fight in between two teams. We didn't did a good fight to have a good ground to play, but we tried. We placed. I think we have 3 points in that game. It was already sad, but we are going to get more in the next game.
Do you think maybe playing more aggressively on that last bit would have helped your case a little bit more?
Yeah, that was the idea. I say it. We need to play aggressive for that team in the edge to have a better ground after that. But I have a mistake there. I dive like very bad, and my team tried to kill them, but we didn't.
Oh, well, better luck on your next matches. All right, thank you, Capitan.
뚝배기 없었으면 엄청 빨면 돼. 제 점짜기 전에.
나 기어다 찾을게. 그냥 오는 거 그대로야, 그대로. 서클 잡을 때 볼게. 그대로야. 켜줘 봐. 나왔다, 오른쪽으로 나왔다. 오른쪽 삥 맞고 다시 들어간다. 그냥 삥 맞았어, 걔. 삥 넣었어. 삥
먼저 안 내밀어도 된다.
준아, 그냥 너 해. 과감하게 해. 너가 이겨. 깔게. 안 보인다. 단차가 있는 거 같아, 단차. 오른쪽에 있어. 밀대 오른쪽에 그대로 있어. 나 움직이는 거 못 받는다. 기어 나왔다, 4번 쪽으로. 나이스. 헤이. 가지. 몇 개야, 얘들아? Yeah.
Genji on the dunes gets themselves the victory. Where's Clinton when you need him? That's a great win for them to be able to take it against all the opposing teams over in those fields. Joining me, Avenger. We got Godspeed. We got Toffees. He's looking through his notes. I'm not going to him just yet. Where's Avenger? That's Genji looking cool.
Yeah, big games for Genji here. Obviously, being in the Korean qualifier, was able to make moves, and it's good to see them coming in here. It's honestly quite a hard compound to come out. It's called tire pop for a reason, this compound, but the way that it kind of worked out for them, and with them having the whole ridge to kind of work on, that really set them up for success in the late game. Also, it felt a little bit like Expendables with 4 could have taken this home here. What do you think?
You could have definitely argued that it could have taken it. It's almost like Clories didn't even care. Right?
Yeah.
Didn't even care. That being said, to bounce off what you were saying, Genji worked that ridge absolutely beautifully. They went all the way to the south and they went back up to the north to kind of clean up the fight that was happening between AJL. So it was just, very well played.
It sure was.
No.
We need an emotional statement.
Genji has to be happy with that. But
yes,
Rock, I will also say, frustrated to have another second place come down that pipeline. They're qualified. They're going to be happy with their performance. But I was also very impressed with Rock in this game yet again. Surprising us. It's like that guy standing behind. You don't expect the person in line. You turn, oh, Rock, you're there again. Every single game, Rock is
Clinton.
popping up behind
It's like, what are you doing down there?
Where'd you come from?
Old man.
But every single time they're there, they're putting in points. They get 9 kills in this game with another 15, and it's done
That's
in
huge.
this way that you don't even notice until it's too late.
I mean, this is important, right? As much as Genji gets the win here and great for them to bump up the standings, the day has been Rock's day here, Godspeed. They're constantly at the top. It's like that first kind of foray into success today just sparked something in them that has seen non-stop success.
And it started terribly. Game 1 and 2 on Erangel was not good for them whatsoever. But once they hit Rondo, their rotations were I've noticed actually every game they've stayed on the west side of the map. So I don't know if that's a conscious decision where they drop every time, but they've stayed on the western edge and they've controlled the western edge every single time, and they've done it to perfection.
It felt like there was a spark moment at PGS as well for them, Avenger. When you kind of saw how they were playing things out, we saw kind of flubs here and there. Mr. Sentastico himself. Ooh.
Yeah, and also I think 5 kills for him in this game here, right? The way they had to control the high ground. If there were more than 2 that pulled up onto PP team there, they could have had a better game here. They had to lay low kind of towards the later stages of the game, right? But still, fantastic game for them. We also got to say it's good to see All Gamers Global to kind of pull up and get double digits here for the first time. Was it a Tycon turn on? 4 kills? What do you think?
I give it a Tycon turn on, or at least a Tycon turn up. Is it starting to look better, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about ALGL, one of those teams that can turn it up, get a big points, and get back in the mix, and here they are with a good game. So yeah, I'm willing to say Tycon turn up for you there.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's great. All right, stop it, you guys. Got the overalls. Let's stop these guys as quickly as possible and see how everything's shaping up so far, because Rock is flying high. This is kind of ridiculous, actually, for day number 1 here at the Esports World Cup. 61 points. T1 jumps into that second place with 46, and 17 Gaming since the beginning of the day has slipped here somewhat, Avenger.
Yeah, they fall to 5th. That's kind of insane. And yeah, congrats to Rock for being in the finals here. It's not the team that you're kind of going to be expecting to be making, you know, a hot drop situation or forcing someone out on their last day of play, but still, it's an exciting team that, you know, going into the last 7 matches of their Esports World Cup group stage, they're going to have some, like, a lot of space for them to kind of turn up to.
It's not fancy, it's fundamental. And I think that's the way they approach this game in blocks. They sort of block it out, they play this section in a certain way, and they kind of move through their system. The problem I have is that it is very systematic, and there's going to be a point where the rest of the teams, when they start to lead and look at these guys, are going to say, there's the system, I can break it down.
The big thing is I don't think they're going to be able to keep the amount of control they've had on their edge in the next lobby the way they've done here. They'll still be good, but they're going to have much less space to work with.
That said, again, this has been a developing year for them, so they will learn through the School of Hard Knocks and bounce back. Looking at the bottom half of the leaderboard, there's some shocks here for me a little bit. I think a BB team, a little bit of the struggle bus right now is not feeling great. GK Esports, I think, surprising with Diffx back. Again, we talked about in the last segment, another game where another struggle.
I've got 2 surprises down here, and it's Geek and BB only. The other ones, not so much. Like, even though, you know, we have Buriam, a team that had really big moves in APAC, it's a really difficult lobby to come in here and really dominate. And that's why I feel like Rock, they're, you know, thriving in a setting where it's very chaotic, and they're taking control on an edge where it's like, okay, we can fight one team and kind of move slowly towards the next kind of stages here. But once you get to the grand final, like, teams are going to turn into beast mode, and that's going to be extremely difficult to keep on, like, holding on to the top 4.
DK did have a good last game, though, so
yeah, they did.
That was good.
They keep getting rocked up on, though, in some of those moments where they get a few kills here and there, and then absolute annihilation from that point on, though.
Good news for them and everybody else is that Rock is... can't believe I'm saying this, sponging up all the points, right? So Rock has come out there and is so far ahead that I do think it's going to leave a little bit of an opening for them when they come back in this final game and their next day of play to still pick up some options for survival.
I suppose for a circle like this, though, in those kinds of fields west of Impala, if you've got the compounds, we know those teams are going to be able to extend some kind of lead from that, surely.
My issue with this circle is it was one of those that we'd write off and say you can't put all your eggs in this game, right? Like, it was a tough circle. Problem is that's the second one today out of 5 games, and when you only play 12 to qualify, you can no longer lean into, well, everybody gets one bad one, right? And so it's just really tough to see 2 such difficult circles so close together for the players in the league, in the group today.
Yeah, actually, let's pull up exactly what we've seen from Rock, because they have earned their flag here for this for sure. As what?
Wow,
that's crazy.
Damage received. Does that mean damage done?
They've been shots.
But that's kind of insane stuff coming out from them.
Well, it's the impressive thing as well is not only do they have the control of the space, but they're getting the kills. They're actually hurting so many teams away from the position that they're holding, that not only they're picking off kills, but they're forcing teams to play in an uncomfortable way, which, again, for a team like Rock on an international stage is very impressive.
Yeah, it's 36 kills for them here in 5 games. Really impressive, obviously, with the amount of points they're coming in. 61 total, so, like, obviously placement points is coming their way. They've been consistent, but yeah, 36 kills.
As you look at them, it's easy to go, man, look, they're easy going and excited, and they're getting each other hyped up because they're winning. I can tell you from personal experience, they're exactly the same when they're losing. And I think that's what this team has been doing well, is their communication. Even when they go out early, they're sitting in the comms, they're encouraging each other, they're being positive, and that's a very big deal.
And I want to say, listening to their comms, even though I don't understand it, it was very calm. You could tell that they were all very calm. The comms were clear and concise, and I think this is huge to build their confidence moving into the finals.
Yeah, definitely. Being able to hang with the big dogs. Of course, we did see them at PGSs, and they were playing in those lobbies quite handedly, especially when it came to PGSA. But now, here on a stage like this, the gravitas that does potentially press down on you here, Avenger, is kind of scary, and they're thriving in it.
Yeah, I mean, if they're able to keep this cool, calm, and collected here, you know, the 15 points last game, 13 points the game before that, and 22 in their win. It's like 2 second places and a win out of 5 games. They also had 9 points in their first game. Like, absolutely insane to do in a stage like this. But again, we talked about it at the beginning of the day, right? It's going to be a very chaotic day. Everyone has to kind of get in here and feel, because they know it's one of the biggest tournaments of the year. It's the biggest in terms of the club championship and everything. There's $650,000 for first place. Like, that's life-changing money.
Yeah, and I think the stress that puts on these teams can be challenging. I'm worried about Rock being in first place as they move forward, because now everyone's looking at them. They're going home with that pressure of being watched by everyone, and this is a new feeling for them. So I do hope they get together, their manager, their team, their coaches, say, okay, let's just keep it together. Let's not worry about anybody else. Let's not do anything. Let's not get too big for our britches, because I can see that pressure being very crushing for a bunch of young players who haven't handled it that often.
Technically, for teams who are just playing their first day of groups, technically, out of them, is it a BB team and a Geek that you think can come back in day 2 and be able to kind of blast out, considering the quality of Group C? What were you thinking, Godspeed?
I definitely think if they go back, and they will go back, they'll watch the tapes, they'll see what mistakes they made, and then they'll try to take advantage once again of that new chaos coming in, because it's a new group coming in, and they're going to have to be able to get the points that they need. In order to do that, I think they're going to have to fix a lot of mistakes, because, as you said, GK and BB are currently struggling.
I mean, I'll put it out there with a hot take. I think BB team, yes. GK, no. I don't think so. They feel lost to me. Unless DiffX goes home and figures something out and the team has a powwow that changes lives. But right now, not the way they look, no.
Avenger?
GK is playing tomorrow. BB team is playing tomorrow. Falcons are playing tomorrow. Rock is playing tomorrow. It's a lot of teams that are, have a high impact that's going up against teams that, if you have a bad day today, one good game from one of the C teams, that's going to put them above in the leaderboard. That's an insane amount of pressure.
All right, thank you very much, lads. It is time to head into the last game of the day of Group A and B, going head-to-head.
I've got one question for you, Paper.
Yeah, what's that?
Are you ready to rock?
Yeah.
I tried so hard. I tried so hard.
I'm ready. Well, I mean, look, I'm having a good time. I come in here. Korea wins back-to-back games. Things are good. It's all
you.
I know. What can I say? I'm just the lucky charm. For
all I can say is, wait, did we do something like that was like these doctor notes with like some, I don't know, hot takes or something?
We were pretty on the mark with that. Fist bump. Yeah, good job.
Let's get that. Okay, so last game, Miramar, and that was a mean circle, dude. Like,
yeah.
It was very difficult to play whenever we get down into the Impala field. Specifically, that area is just so... I don't have a nice way to say it. Sucky. There's no other way to do it.
It's gross.
It's really gross if you're not the team that has the ridgeline to play from. So kudos to Gen.G to make sure to secure it. Also, kudos to everybody else that was having to play around it and make it into that very hard tail end of that game. But it is now time. Only 3 days of groups. And remember, we rotate out different teams. So you only get to play on 2 days. So this is going to be the halfway point for group stage after we are done with this match.
Yeah, pretty crazy to think about, but it is fast and furious. The desk has been talking about a lot. You've got to kind of come out here and play consistent PUBG. You can't really, give too much out there. You got to have good days. And so for teams like Rock, they're into the grand finals. That's great. But a lot of teams, want to get as many points as they can in this last game. And see what kind of situation they can find themselves in for their second day of play.
And this is all around a pretty interesting setup that we're looking at, because you have to kind of take what's given to you, but then also take whatever else you possibly can. That's one of the reasons we keep talking about opportunistic teams that we keep expecting from things like the Expendables or AGAL. We're starting to see flashes of it. I didn't think it was going to take 5 games to really see AGAL starting to find more and more kills, though.
Yeah, and I think AGL's probably kicking themselves a little bit from that last game with not landing that util into that trailer like when they needed to, because they could have had that position a lot cleaner, a lot sooner, been able to regroup, kind of get themselves maybe positioned for a better late game fight against, say, Rock or something like that. Maybe found themselves in that late game. Instead, they couldn't, and then they just crumbled. So we're seeing flashes from them, but we're not seeing consistency.
And the start of the day was very 17 heavy, and it's gotten a lot more quiet as we move forward. Hey, did you guys like that last circle? We'll get a bit more west for you. Pretty much the same thing this time around.
Rip.
So this is, well, you already know the lay of life. We're not going to break that one down again.
Yeah.
Toffee's hit, I respect Toffee's because he was saying, he stood by and I don't know if GK can do it, if they can manage to bounce back and get that many points. It's a strong squad. We know that GK is, DiffX has been a core component of so many fantasy rosters for so long.
Yes.
Picking him up because he's just always a smart pick. We saw a very interesting set of plays wherever they were kind of stuck around AGAL and kind of were the thorn in the side that caused them to finally have to relent and lose multiple members. It's going to be very hard for GK to really kind of rally back together. It's 17 points right now. One big game could get them there, but it's going to take a massive mental. Just you got to lock in and just be like, okay, everything's got to fire together to make this happen.
For sure, and you've seen it before. It happens all the time where a team has one bad day and then pops off another day. Yeah. That's totally doable. But
or has a great day and then kind of collapses on the second.
Exactly, but you don't want to put yourself in that position, right? You want to give yourself a strong finish here today to go into your next day with as many points as possible. Of course, like that's a platitude. You're just saying that because it's true, but it is surprising to see GK that far down. I think they can bounce back. I assume that they'll figure it out. They're given another opportunity here with the circle to try and do some damage in this game. You know, for Falcons here, trying to not get stuck in the weeds early like they did against GSW. You know, they're comfortable with 41, but like you said,
yeah,
you can have a bad day. You can't afford to at this event, but it does happen. So, you know, Falcons still some work to do for sure.
And there's an odd pressure on the Falcons. They'll all say, oh yeah, you know, it doesn't exist and blah, 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 blah. But this has been, like, Riyadh has been the location where Falcons as a team have been the most consistent.
Yeah.
And they will say until their dying breath, oh, no, there's no pressure on us. You know, the team, the org is not going to be putting pressure on them. But there's going to be some internal pressure where it's going to be like, this is our event. We have to make something big happen here. And yeah, 41 points feels good. Tied up with Genji. Weird sentence to be saying right there. But this is a squad that we know has a bigger upswing specifically at events like this. And I'm curious to see how it's going to progress moving into tomorrow.
Absolutely. I think there's probably a few little things to tweak here and there for them, but overall I've been pretty happy with their game plan. I mean, that last game was just...
That's a weird outlier.
It was a weird situation. It's an unexpected trap that GSW set up because of what happened.
What you mean? GSW, totally a better team than Falcons right now, right?
Yeah. 17 points, yeah.
Nobody saw his face.
No, but
he totally believes that, I promise.
Stuff like that does happen. I mean, it's part of the game. And you can scout as well as you can, but every once in a while a team's going to do something that catches you off guard. It happens to everybody, so I don't think there's anything too worried to be about.
And especially the group stages, right? Because, like, weird rotations, circles, all this other stuff, they can
feeling out in the lobby.
Yeah. So you don't ever really count out one round whenever we're looking at this in the group stages. It's whenever you start seeing consistency across different maps of, I guess, underwhelming performance is whenever we start to get a bit worried.
For sure, exactly. I mean, it's like when you have like one big game on like Erangel and then you're quiet the rest of the day. That's when I start to get concerned. Whereas Falcons have been relatively consistent.
What team are you conceivably talking about that just did really well on Erangel?
No, I'm not going to name any names. No. Not going to do it. I was like, I'm not taking that bait. I am not. You can if you want. I mean, I think 17 will be fine. They're generally, historically, like I've always looked at them as an Erangel team, but like when they won PGS, obviously they had to be good at all the maps. Pretty much, that's the only way you're winning an event. So it'd be cool to see them do well here on Miramar. I always feel like the Korean teams are pretty formidable on Miramar for whatever reason. Like they seem to have a good pulse on this map, whether it be historically like, you know, T1 with, you know,